So tell me if this sounds a little familiar to you. Come up with a goal, something you're really excited to achieve and accomplish, and you set out with a plan and you say, I'm going to do this, this, and I'm going to reach that goal and it's going to be amazing. And then a few days, a few weeks go by and you have not implemented any of those new habits or those steps you needed to take to get to that goal. And so you feel, yes, I still want this goal, but oh my goodness, it's so hard to get there. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've certainly fallen into this trap. I think a lot of us do. And the reason is because making new habits is hard. And making new habits is hard because we already have so many habits. And the majority of your day, of your life, is run on habits. You already have a full list of habits, a full day packed with habits that you're going to implement and use. And you don't really have a whole lot of room for new habits because you are not consciously aware of a lot of your time, most of your time. Pretty much everything you do is a habit that you don't have to think about, which is crazy, right? We use our conscious brains to, problem solve and do work and stuff like that. But even so much of that process is habitual. So stepping in with new habits is really difficult. And it is mostly difficult because there's just no room for them. It's also difficult because the habits that we already have are generally, some of them are in direct opposition to the new habits we want to build. So while we say, for example, I want to be really healthy, I want to get fit and eat well and just be in my peak physical self, we probably have a lot of habits already that are not supporting that. Perhaps we have beliefs around certain foods make us feel good. We believe that we enjoy watching TV and that that's a nice, comfortable escape. And so those habits are built in. And we do them day to day, week to week, whatever it may be. And we don't even really think about them because habits, by their very nature, are unconscious. You may be able to bring your awareness to them, absolutely, but you don't generally have enough awareness all day long to be directing your body and mind to do new things every moment of the day. It's just, there's just too much. That's overwhelm. So that's why we have habits. It's like allow your body to just take the actions that need to be taken without thinking too hard about them. Your brain's not going to overheat and explode. You're just going to go about your day making a lot of things habitual and focusing on the few things that are really important. We can only focus on, I think, 7 bits of information, roughly around there, with our conscious minds. So, of course, we're not going to be able to consciously focus on every action we're taking every moment and still be productive and creative and all this. So, habits are good. They're helpful. They help us do new things. But we also have this conscious ego mind that doesn't want us to do anything new. All it wants is for us to be safe, and in being safe, that means be predictable, be in a predictable environment, do predictable things, know that the next moment is not going to lead to death. And so it promotes doing the same thing over and over and over again because it's like, yeah, we're good, we're going to stay alive, everything's good, this is what we want, this is where we want to be. Great on an evolutionary scale, terrible for personal growth and individual development, right? So we want to grow, we want to change, we want novelty. Of course, we want to feel safe and supported and secure, and we want some form of predictability. But when you're trying to create a goal, you're going to need newness. And so your conscious brain is going to resist that when you try to tell it, hey, let's do this instead. And part of the reason and the main reason for that is because your subconscious mind has a whole bunch of beliefs and has formed a whole bunch of habits that tell the brain that it's safe, this is what we want, this is ideal, this is predictable, nothing new would be better. So this is an exercise you can do to help understand what possible conflicting habits you have. You may not understand the beliefs behind those habits, but at least you can recognize that you do have unconscious habits and you can bring them to consciousness and try to work with them through your mindset. So it's called inversion thinking. So you have a goal, you know what you want, you say, I want this, I think these are the habits I need, whatever it may be. Take that goal, what's its polar opposite? So you want to be healthy, you want to be fit, you want to be your best self, loving your body. Okay, alternatively, the opposite would be, I want to feel like crap, I want to hate the way I look, I want to be unhealthy, falling apart, sick. We don't want that, but imagine you did. What would be the things you'd have to do to get that outcome? I'd have to never go to the gym, barely move throughout the day, really. I wouldn't stretch or move my body at all. I'd eat a lot of greasy, fatty, sugary foods. I would get really worked up about every little thing so that my whole nervous system's out of alignment and dysregulated. So make a whole list of everything that's going to really make you unhealthy. All the habits that are going to make you super unhealthy, if that was your goal. And then go through that list and say, how many of these things am I doing? How many of these habits do I have? And be very honest, be very real. It's okay. It's okay, but you cannot fix what you are unaware of. You have to bring awareness in to make a change. So once you're aware of what you're doing, it's not just like, oh, these aren't good habits. It's these habits are leading me in the opposite direction. It's complete 180 direction to where I want to go. So if I don't stop these habits, I'm never going to get to where I want to go. I've got to make this big jump. And that can seem daunting, but really all you have to do is make that list, recognize what you're doing, and as often as you can throughout the day, bring awareness, bring yourself into the present moment and say, am I doing any of these things that are not helpful to me? Have I been watching TV for 3 hours already? And it's the recognition that you're doing it is going to be your trigger. So as soon as you recognize you're doing a habit that is leading you in the wrong direction, have a plan to do something else instead that leads you in the right direction. So it can be maybe whenever I notice I'm watching TV in the evening, I'm going to turn the TV off and go do 5 squats, 10 push-ups, a bunch of jumping jacks, whatever, something small even. Or I'm just going to get up and go open the door, take a nice breath of fresh air. Anything that's going to be supportive of your goal and take you away from that habit. And the more you practice that, the more it becomes a habit, which again is unconscious. So the more you're just making that a habit, making it unconscious, and the less difficult it will be to interrupt that habit, that negative habit, and the more likely you will be to just start doing the new thing without having to have that prompt from the negative habit. So you are turning the ship. You're going, I'm heading in this direction, and by recognizing the habits that are taking me here and having a plan for how I'm going to handle those with new habits, you're turning the ship in the direction you want to go in. And of course, if you're having blocks and you don't really understand why you have so much resistance to creating new habits or why it's so difficult to break an old habit, I'd love to work with you. That's my jams, right? Like it's all about uncovering what is in the unconscious, the subconscious mind, bringing it to light, liberating it, and then just getting on track to where you want to go, because all that stuff that's in there that you don't know about and that's causing you challenges is stuff that you can address. There is nothing in there that you don't have the capacity to work through and release. Okay, well, let me know how that exercise works out for you and how you're able to implement that in your life, creating new habits from old habits. Thank you for listening. Wishing you all the best. Take care.